What's up, dudes, and welcome back to the Banter at the Bank podcast. I'm Drew here with Brandon. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. Phillies are up 3-0. Having a good time over here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Bryce with the nice double, Trey with the nice double, in the opposite order of what I just said, but um, yeah. It's going good. Yeah. Me and Brandon were at the game on Saturday there. Good old walk off there from
Oh yeah,
Nick Castellanos.
Drew's reign of awesome things happening is just keeping it so. Everyone's tuning in Friday night. That'll be the next game Drew's at. So I'm
Yes.
sure there'll be a
Everybody
walk off,
watch.
no hitter,
Uh,
something cool.
Someone hits for the cycle or something ridiculous like that. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. When we get into the coverage of the previous series, we'll get into that a little more. But it was a good time. Beautiful weather. Little, little windy. Some lady had a plastic bag blow up and fly into her face, and she was not having it. She 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 straight up left. It pulled the bag off her face, and we never saw her again.
Yeah, I feel like we were a little bit responsible for that because we started crack. We both started kind of like cracking up louder than we realized, and then she looked very angry and stormed out. So.
I mean, I feel a little sorry, but like at her age, she should have some type of I don't know, composure. I don't know, whatever the word is for that. She shouldn't take offense to that, especially when it's really windy like it is. But
Yeah.
oh well. Sorry if you're listening, but I'd laugh again. So I don't know how sorry I am. I'm not a mean
We were
person.
in section 245, lady, and no, we're calling you out.
uh, yeah.
You missed a great ending.
Yes, you did. Unless you were just at the bar because you wanted to drink away your, upset, which is fair. Dang, Ranger came out back for the 8th inning.
That was actually going to be one of the things that I was going to ask you.
Well,
Was like, is he ever going to start getting past the 6th inning?
this answers your question. When he's at 86 pitches, that's pretty good for 8
That's
innings.
crazy.
Yeah. Or it's not through 8. It's pretty good for 7 1/3 innings. But yeah, so today's episode we got a listener question. We'll cover the previous series, and the takeaways that we got from all that. Any roster updates we got our Phillies by the Numbers segment, and preview of upcoming games along with some prospect talk, where we'll be talking about Carlos De La Cruz. So if you're excited for that, stay tuned. If that's all you're coming from, that's at the end. So hold tight. But listener question this week is from my buddy Bobby. His question was, how impressed are we with the improvement in play from the young guys the last few years, meaning Stott, Bohm, and Marsh? Do you think they'll be able to carry the core of the team into the future?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start. Thank you for the question too, Bobby. I'm very impressed. I mean, when you not like when you really look at it with our core of Schwarber, Harper, uh, Real Muto, Castellanos, I mean, that core is going to be adjusted with Schwarber getting a little bit older and his contract next year being the last year on his contract. Castellanos is just kind of hit or miss, and he only has 1 year left, I believe, after this year, or maybe two. But then Romuto next year is also his last year on his contract. So, I mean, these guys are going to have to step up and be like, the kind of second, third, and fourth guys behind, Bryce essentially, and I guess now Trey. So, but am I impressed? I mean, I'm impressed, but I expected it.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a massive disappointment if none of these guys really panned out to be like really like average to above average major leaguers. I would say above. I would say they're all above average major leaguers, right? Would
Definitely.
you agree?
At this
Yeah,
point, yeah.
yeah. So, I am impressed overall. Long story short, because that's just what we need. And I mean, they were all kind of high draft picks. Obviously, Marsh was acquired, but we gave up, a top prospect to get him. So, yeah, I'm impressed, and I think we're gonna see the leaps even more this year.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, when Stott was drafted, the first thing out of my mouth was, "Look, it's Chase Utley," um, and I haven't been wrong. Now he's impressed me a lot. I think he really could play shortstop long term, um, but when he was first drafted, I really thought he was going to have to stick at second. That's where he's stuck for now. But as Trey ages, I feel like you could easily flip the two and move Stott back over to shortstop and Trey back to second. But we'll see how they handle that going forward. Bohm being the third overall pick, I would say you would hope this is what happens with the third overall pick. So I am impressed. Like Brandon was saying, I kind of expected it. Now I think Marsh might have been a second round pick, if I'm not wrong, from the Angels. But either way, you trade Logan O'Hoppe for him is what they labeled the deal as, uh, who was supposed to be like your JT replacement once his contract ran out. Um, yeah, I mean he hasn't disappointed, and he's been carrying the team for the first stretch of the season here, as he did last year also. So. Um, Yeah.
Just
If yeah.
a spin-off question for you. I
Mhm.
mean, if you were to predict who out of the three would have the best career at when it's all said and done, who would you put your money on?
I think it really comes down to what you label as a good a great career. I
Hmm.
think Stott has the potential for the most awards, as he's probably gonna win a bunch of Gold Gloves coming up
Hmm.
here in the next however many years. I don't know if Bohm's gonna hit for power enough to win Silver Sluggers at third base, but he's gonna be beyond solid. Um, Marsh, I feel like same deal. He could probably win Gold Gloves. He'll probably win outfield Gold Gloves, especially after that throw that he just had all of like 15 minutes ago. If you're not sure what we're talking about, the Phillies are playing right now, and Marsh just threw out the uh, what's his name, the Rockies dude that I don't remember his last name, but Rockies guy trying to get a triple or not a triple, a double, and Marsh threw him out from the warning track. So that just happened. So Marsh will probably get some Gold Gloves too. But I feel like Stott has a chance to get Gold Glove and Silver Slugger awards at second base if he sticks there. While I don't think Bohm's ever going to get. So it really depends on if you classify it based on awards or if you um, go based on watching them play.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, that was a long way of me not giving an answer, but I guess if I really had to pick, I probably would end up going with Marsh, um, just because he's been hitting for power and average,
Hmm.
and that's sustainable. That's like a sustainable trajectory. Because if one dips and the other stays, you're still a good player,
Hmm.
especially with his fielding ability. Um, and anyone that can keep Schwarber out of left field, I give my vote to. Um, so I think I'll have to go with Marsh. He might be the oldest of the three, though, also. So um, that raises a good question. Anyway, what about you? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think eye test wise, I feel like Stott has the highest ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bohm, like, I mean, he had over 100 RBIs and almost he batted 280 last year. So, I mean, that's kind of what I expected Bohm to be when they drafted him. They said
Mm-hmm.
he was the best pure hitter in the draft. It's just like he really, I mean, every year it's like he's working on lifting the ball, working on lifting the ball, working on lifting the ball. We need a little bit more out of a 6'5" third baseman,
Yeah,
power wise, in my opinion.
he hits like a no, Rojas just stole second. He hits like a I don't know what you want to
Yeah, I
call
don't
it.
even know how to like what like he's just a
Yeah,
solid
kind of
contact
like how
swing
you
home run
think
guy.
Brandon, kind of like how you think Brandon Marsh would hit, I
Yeah.
guess. that
Mm-hmm.
physique, like kind of on the. I mean, Brandon Marsh isn't short. Brandon Marsh is his height's not listed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Marsh is. I'm not calling him short, but he's 6'4".
That's pretty tall.
Yeah. All right. Well, this whole analogy just went right out the window. But he hit Bohm hits like a player that you wouldn't think hits for like home run power, but is a guy that drives it to the gaps. That's how he hits. I have no issue with that, except for the fact that he's like 6'5" and absolutely jacked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't want to mess with anything because I'm perfectly fine with him being that type of player. It's just hard to have a third baseman that hits for average and RBIs and not power. But if you
Mm-hmm.
got Harper at first base, there's your power. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just hard to not have a third baseman with power because that's prototypically your power position. And
Mm-hmm.
so it just means you have to get it somewhere else, which now that we have DH, that helps. But um, it also helps that we have such a balanced lineup though too, where
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to pick on Rojas, but 1 through 8 could all hit for power. But yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, long story short, all three of these guys have really panned out well.
yeah,
So,
and I think the future's as bright as it's ever been
yeah,
because
absolutely.
you'll probably let not probably you will let Schwarber and Castellanos' contract. I would believe you just let them kind of run out unless you do re-up Schwarber. I'm not really sure. But I feel like you could let them run out comfortably, knowing you have these three guys to carry you on, and you just hope. Because who knows? Maybe this is really thoughtful, like not thoughtful, but like hopeful
Thinking down the
thinking.
line here. Oh, okay.
Yeah. If Harper sticks at first, you can always move Bohm to permanent DH and Aiden Miller comes up and plays third.
Mm-hmm.
And then that
Yeah.
replaces Schwarber. Well, not really, but it'd get your power third baseman.
Oh, Harper just hit a home run. Sorry.
Oh, let's go. You're like a split second ahead of me, and I saw your
Oh,
head turn.
sorry.
Your head turn, and you smiled, and I'm like, what? I'm not even at the
I
game. How is he
for
doing it?
some for some reason I heard like like I had the volume literally on like 2, but I heard T Mac's voice get a little louder. Sorry, not sorry. We're gonna digress so much with the game on in the background. I think this is our first one. But no,
No, he's
I
breaking
think
out of the slump tonight. It's good.
yeah, that's true. But
Means he'll
yeah, I
hit when
mean
I'm
to
there.
your
Yeah, go
I guess,
ahead.
yeah, I guess your eyes do. Anyways, yeah, I mean, to the Aiden Miller point though, I mean, I think that the organization's at a point where, you know, Stott, Marsh, and Bowen are like our young guys right now who are producing in the majors, but
Yeah,
I think there's just going to be ways for them to come. I mean, look at what we did with Brandon Marsh when he came over from the Angels. I mean, a few tweaks in his swing, and he's a completely different hitter.
yeah.
Um,
The longer
and
you
then
can keep
we
Kevin
did,
Long here, the better.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and then even the minors, we developed Bowman, we developed Stott. So both were college guys, so they were a little bit more polished coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But I just believe in like the infrastructure of the organization compared to years past. So I think this is just the start of young studs coming up and producing for us, so that we can keep paying more contracts and to keep replenishing top talent and you know just keep this thing rolling for even if the window with these guys is a little bit smaller. I think we're really set up for sustained success. So
Yeah, I feel like Aiden Miller is really going to be a test for the organization.
hmm
In the sense of we're almost historically bad at developing high school talent.
hmm
um, and all the successful like hits that we've had recently have been college guys like Nola straight from LSU, Bohm straight from Wichita, Stott straight from Vegas, and um, it's been a bunch of college guys that we've been hitting
hmm
on.
yeah.
So I feel like Aiden Miller is a good like we did a lot of um work
hmm
on examining the farm system and its infrastructure and how can we make this better so that we can draft any level of player that we want and do the best we can to turn them into and give them the best shot they have, I guess would be the better way of saying that, into a pro. Um, and so I feel like they've done a lot of good work, and now I feel like Aiden Miller's kind of, I don't want to call him a guinea pig, but he's like, here is the best chance you're gonna get to turn someone that got overlooked in the draft because of a stupid hand fracture. That seems a little bogus to me, but um, yeah, someone that just got overlooked in the draft should have been a top 15, maybe even a top 10 pick. And he got to us at 29, 27, somewhere around there. So it'll test the farm system, and I have all the faith that they figured it out. But I need them to kind of prove that before I get too excited.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean,
in
even
my,
Justin
in,
Crawford too.
oh
You
yeah,
know, I think
yeah,
he was the year before Aiden Miller, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So, but we will see. But
Yeah.
I mean, for now, I guess we'll just focus on our back-to-back playoff team in the big leagues.
Oh yes.
So yeah, I mean, since we last recorded was last Tuesday, so a lot's happened since then. Obviously,
Yep.
Pirate series was just getting started. They split, which frustrating, definitely.
Yeah.
But the
You
Pirates are
didn't
hot
lose
right
it.
now. Exactly, yeah. Pirates
Yeah.
are hot right now. We're cold. I mean,
I was really
um,
hoping to see McCutcheon's 300th home run,
I
but
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a day
I'm glad.
later.
Yeah, that video of him like with the Pirates
Oh
fans was
yeah,
nice
that
though.
was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Honestly, McCutcheon, like we're getting such off topic here, but like McCutcheon might
I
be one
mean,
of
not
my
really. We're talking about
favorite.
the Pirates.
No, very true, very true. But McCutcheon might be one of my favorite like short-term Phillies players. Like if you were to ask me like your favorite Phillies player who only spent like 2 or 3 seasons here, he'd probably
Bradledge.
be. Oh, dude, Bradley's drove me crazy in like 2009, 2010. Like it almost
Short term,
erased
thinking
2008.
2008. That's all I'm thinking about.
No, very true.
Anyway,
So yeah, love
yeah, no, I love
McCutcheon.
Kutch.
So
Yeah, I love Kutch. But yeah, Thursday Ranger had a really good, solid outing,
yeah, I have
and
in my notes. Sorry.
has another one going on right now. So
Yeah,
dang, he's back out there.
I have in my notes here. I was gonna do a big topic of conversation of why don't we ever let Ranger go past the seventh inning or get to the seventh inning,
Topper
but
must have
he.
heard. He said, "Screw you,
Yeah,
Bird."
yeah, no, honestly, I mean, this is great though because I feel like it was just so annoying. Like, I feel like even the playoffs and even last year in regular season games, like Ranger would just be cruising
Yeah,
and they would just pull him, and
yeah,
it was like, come on, man, like you're a big league starter, and
yeah.
he's been relatively durable in his career, so I'm glad they're actually
I'm
like
wondering
sticking to their
if,
word about stretching him out this year.
yeah, I'm wondering if some of it last year was the fact that he missed the first good chunk of the year with that
Hmm.
injury he got from the World Baseball Classic, and so
Hmm.
they were just being cautious, trying not to overextend him and just get what they could out of him, and
Hmm.
thinking anything we get at this point is a bonus. Um, but yeah,
That's true. Yeah, and I mean he was relatively fresh in the playoffs, so I guess it did pay off. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean he could go for a complete game shutout here. It's gonna be interesting as it goes on.
yeah.
But Friday was the debut of the uh, City
City
Connect
connects.
uniforms, and we laid an egg.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
5-2 loss in 6 innings, or I'm sorry, 5-2 loss. Sanchez went for 6 innings, so he looked good, but again, not hitting at all. And honestly, it reminded me of when the Phillies had those all burgundy jerseys, and they lost pretty bad, and they didn't hit at all.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're never wearing these again. I was like, dang, like they
Don't
can't just do
worry.
that with these, you know?
I'll be there Friday, so they'll hit.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm gonna talk too
Well,
much about this, and
yeah,
then they're gonna lay an egg. But
they're gonna jinx your hot streak you got going on here.
yeah, I started the season with my season tickets last year. I started like 6 or 7-0.
Jeez.
Yeah, and so everyone keeps saying that the Phillies should just pay me to
No,
come to
honestly,
games.
that's
And
incredible.
I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I'm also not saying that I wouldn't accept that if they offered it. But
uh,
yes, Saturday though. Um, stinks that they only gave him a single for that. Saturday, interesting game.
Yeah.
I'll let
Yeah.
you go first
They.
because you were. I'm not saying I wasn't hype, but I've seen like I just had really good luck with my season tickets last year, so I saw a lot of exciting things last year. So it just kind of felt
Yeah.
par for the course. So I'll let you go.
Yeah. I feel like I was at the Reese Bat Spike game back in 22, and I feel like and I used to get like good luck too when I would go to games, but like for whatever reason last year, like I really didn't. I think I saw more losses than wins, and it was just like an underwhelming season of me going in person. I think the only really cool thing I saw was like the Cody Clemens walk off. So I was like, and then this year, that Braves game I was at was just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping to get change of luck. Good thing Drew has that 7-0 great luck here. But yeah, it was a great game. I mean, they jumped on what's that lefty's name? Starts with a Q, I think.
Quantrill.
No,
Is it
that
not Cal
was.
Quantrill?
Is it Cal Quantrill? I don't
I thought
know,
it
but
was. You keep talking. I'll
yeah, but I mean,
find it.
yeah, Phillies, jump off to an early lead on Saturday, and then the bats just kind of go cold, and then next thing you know, it's like the fifth inning, and the Pirates are up 3-2. But I mean, they just found a way to win that game, and then Castellanos, just first pitch hits one to center. Probably would have been a double, if it wasn't the last at bat there, but yeah,
Yeah.
ends the game. First walk off I've seen in a while actually, and
Nice.
yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very exciting.
it was a good time. They got over the starter. Not over. They got on the starter. That was
hmm
Marco Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mixing up Quint because he kind of shut us down the other night, but
Yeah. But they got on Gonzalez early with Schwarber leadoff homer to start the game. And then um completely blanking on what happened then.
yeah, it's hard to like
Oh, didn't
remember all these games.
trade doubled. Trade doubled. Harper
hmm
struck out or something, and then Bohm hit a single to score.
Yeah.
But we were
Yep.
up 2-1. We were up 2-1.
hmm
Um, and then normal Phillies thing. You don't score. You score in the first inning, then you don't score until the seventh inning again. Um, but yeah, Pirates went up 3-2. The wind was really blowing left to right at that game and swirling.
hmm
And I said, there's no way anybody besides like a right-handed power hitter is going to hit anything like out of the park. And there's 2 home runs the whole game. And they were both lefty hitters that hit them to left field. So
Yeah.
the exact thing I said wasn't going to happen is the only thing that happened because O'Neill Cruz absolutely, he didn't even demolish it. He literally just flicked his wrist and the ball went flying out to left field. And it was
hmm
like no doubt. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, what in the world?
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
was
that
crazy.
should
That
not
got
be
out.
possible.
Well, that got out like so fast too. I just saw it
No,
traveling, and then it was like, holy cow, that's like 10 rows deep.
I
Like
know.
that's
It is
impressive.
ridiculous. He's an impressive specimen there
Yeah,
when
he
healthy.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Schwarber hitting that leadoff home run and get the energy up, get the vibe started. That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was funny too, 'cause before we went in, I was like, man, I need to see a Bryce homer today, like break out of the slump. And you're like, I think Bryce has hit my quota for the year. But you can almost bank on a Schwarber home run. And then literally first at bat, I was like, no way. So that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I go to games, I just get weird feelings of things are gonna happen, and I
Yeah.
tell my brother and I tell the people I'm with, I'm like, yeah, watch, this is about to happen. Like right before Schwarber came up too, I was like, watch, Schwarber's gonna hit a leadoff home
hmm
run here to tie things back up, and next thing you know, I didn't think I thought he was just gonna absolutely obliterate it to right field, but there, he hit it to left center. So, um, yeah, but
Dang, Suarez is 110 pitches right now.
good for
That's
him.
crazy. Anyways, sorry. But
2 outs,
yeah,
1 out away.
what a great way to end it. And that was the first
Yeah,
walk off of the season for the Phils. So
yeah, it's always a fun
um
fit. And then they got another one yesterday.
yeah. Yeah, so we'll just gloss past Sunday because that game was horrible.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. There's
But
a reason I didn't even mention it.
yeah. But last night was a really good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that play at the plate was nuts. Like with I forget the pitcher that was in there.
Kyle Freeland.
Yeah, Freeland. And
I
the
thought he like
Rockies.
dislocated his shoulder at first.
Yeah, that looked crazy. Well,
Yeah,
apparently they were
and
saying
then
on
I
the
heard he came right
broadcast
back to
today.
the dugout.
Yeah, and he was like
Wow, the
screaming at the
most
umpire.
sorry, I don't want to cut you off. The most prototypical Ranger Suarez way to finish the evening. The most relaxed ground ball back to the pitcher fielding deal that Ranger does ever for the last out of a complete game shot. Look at him, he's so happy. He's just
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome,
wow, I
man.
just did that. What a game. What a dude.
Oh, well,
We'll talk about that. We can talk more about
yeah,
today's game after we get through yesterday's game.
yeah. Yeah, yesterday's sorry that segue is so good to a point, but it's we'll keep going. But yeah, yesterday's game was really great. Boring game. I mean, it was Philly just refused to score runs. I was thinking like, oh, it's nice warm day out. Like the weather's not a factor here, and like once again got a quick run with the Harper single, and
Mm-hmm.
then didn't score again until the 10th. No,
Yeah.
yeah, 10th inning. So it's like it's just I don't know. Like I mean they hit well tonight, thankfully, but I mean the long
It's
ball's just not
really
working.
it's really frustrating me because they just haven't been hitting in the middle innings, and
Hmm.
it's driving me crazy
Yeah.
because they'll get off the like I just want to see them once this season because they did it like 3 or 4 times at the beginning of last year where they just blew a team out like 19 and to like not nothing but like 19 to
Hmm.
like 30 or something like that,
Hmm.
and they just haven't done that this year because those games they were just hitting the whole entire game,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it
There's.
wasn't like everyone was hitting, but like it was consistent, and that's what's killing me here is it's like we'll get off hot on the starting pitcher, but we can never knock him out of the game.
Hmm.
And yeah,
No, and it feels like the games that we're winning, we're just doing like barely enough to win.
yeah,
Like let's get an early lead, not do anything. Oh, they scored 4 runs. All right, we're done with this game. On to the next,
yeah,
and then same thing the next night. And it's like, oh, okay, it's still tied. Our pitching was great. Let's just like get a little
yeah.
run here and win the game. It's like
We've
just
wasted so many good outings. Like
hmm
Sanchez's outing last Friday was, prototypical Sanchez give up 1 run over 6 innings, and we lost 5-2.
hmm
Like what the heck? Like he
and
gave
I
up.
mean,
You had 6 innings to score 2 runs, and you
hmm
didn't do that. And whatever.
and I mean Wheeler starts. They're not giving him any run support, which is
No,
just tragic. I mean,
didn't he?
like,
Didn't he like try and call him out in an
did he? I
interview
didn't
the other?
see
I
that.
thought he said something, unless I misread something. I
He
don't know.
should though. I mean, he should.
Yeah, no one would be
I mean,
mad
this
if he
is.
did.
I mean, this is probably realistically his last real shot of winning a Cy Young. I think he deserves it. I mean, he's just
The way
been
he's been pitching, he
hmm
if he doesn't win it, I'd be annoyed.
yeah, yeah.
I
I was
mean,
thought.
his competition's out for the year, so
Hmm.
um, but yeah,
Yeah, it's just nothing frustrates me more than I feel like it used to be with Halliday back in the day, but it's like up off day for the offense. Our ace is on the bump. Like
yeah, you
I
can't
don't
do
like
that.
that. Yeah,
No, you can't do that.
but you know they're
Yeah,
really not hitting in any games. So I mean
no, but Noah
tonight
pitched really
was
well too.
decent, but
Yeah.
hmm yeah, Nola that bounce back game was huge.
Hmm.
He just looked like he could put the ball exactly where he needed to.
Yeah.
Um,
Everyone was swinging
especially,
at the curveball.
hmm Yeah, he was just locating the fastball so nicely with good run. It looks like
Yeah.
Noel's velocity's down a decent bit this year.
I'm
A
not too
little.
concerned with that, but because if he pitches the way he likes to pitch,
Hmm.
the velocity's never a factor. It's always like
Yeah.
the control and the great movement that he gets on his fastball and curveball.
Hmm.
So as long as he has that going, he'll be fine. But it was the velocity that helped him get out of situations. Like if they weren't expecting a fastball up and in, and he ran a 95 mile an hour two seamer up there at him,
Hmm.
then they weren't hitting it. But now if he's in trouble and he tries to run like a 92 mile an hour two-seamer up there, if they weren't ready for it, they can at least catch up to it a little better to, I don't know, foul it off, bloop it somewhere. I don't know. But I don't think it's a huge deal, but it's not something to completely overlook.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Mhm.
But then, yeah, Pache being the hero.
Yes,
Little
sir.
when they when they took out Schwarber to for Pache to pinch run, I was like, man, like they're
You
not
got to
hitting for
score.
crap. Like, yeah, like you gotta they're gonna that's gonna come back to bite them later in the game. And then lo and behold, Witt lays down a great bunt, and
Oh
then
my word, that was the most beautiful bunt I've ever seen.
yeah,
At least this
yeah,
season.
yeah, it was like I I feel like I don't remember the last time we laid down a successful bunt with the guy on second, like
Well, it's because
in the
Rojas is the
extra
only one
inning
that
rule.
does it.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like if you, I mean, with that runner on the ghost runner rule, like you can just do
Yeah,
that. And if
you
you
just got to
hold him,
bunt it as hard as you can to
hmm
third base to make the third baseman field it. That's really
hmm
what you got to do.
yeah,
Um, or hard enough where the pitcher and third baseman get stuck in just anywhere so the third baseman's not covering third
hmm
is what it comes down to.
yeah.
Um,
But then, yeah, when Rojas couldn't get the job done, I was like, oh man, like here's that spot that's gonna come back to bite him.
uh,
And then literally as I was thinking that, he just shoots that single in the right field. So I
oh
was like, all
yeah,
right, good, got
Crucky
away with
called
this
it.
one.
Crucky calls
Yeah.
everything. I love
He's
that
got the,
man.
he's got the Drew
Yeah,
senses.
yeah. No, what I just have he's got an earpiece in and I tell him what's about to happen. Yeah, that's how it works.
With your glass ball.
Yeah, I sit there, Jesus, tell me what's coming next, and he tells me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man. Um,
But yeah,
but
today's game
yeah,
got off
yeah,
to a
today's
nice
game.
hot start there with JT hitting a 2-run homer.
Yeah, that was nice to see. There hasn't really been a whole lot of home runs for the Phillies lately, compared to before. I feel like before, last year. Um, so seeing him hit that, you know, majestic shot to the left center was great. And with runners, I feel like they hit a lot of solo home runs too. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
there's actually somebody on base. This is great.
Well, also, is I guess it's related because it's about tonight's game. Leave it to Ranger to throw a complete game shutout in about 2 hours.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even 9 yet. Holy cow.
No.
Dude, I like love when he pitches on TV, but when you're there when he pitches, it's like,
I want to be
whoa,
there as
this
long as
thing.
I can.
Yeah, it's like I
Yeah.
can't even use the bathroom. I can't even I
I
can't do
know.
anything.
I know. It's
Like you get a
ridiculous.
hot dog and you're like 3 innings deep.
I know. You're like, all I did was get a hot dog.
No, but there was this was 2 years ago. I was out in PNC with my buddy for the Phillies Pirates series, and like the Pirates were bad, so they were very understaffed, but it was a sold out game. Like it was like Phillies were in town, and like there was a good giveaway for the Pirates. And
Yeah.
we sat and Ranger was pitching, and we literally missed, I think, like 3 or 4 innings waiting in line for food. It was
Dang.
brutal. Yeah, but
That's
anyways,
why if I'm gonna get food at the game, I get there early and eat before the game starts.
yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
such
the
a
smart
dad
way to do
move,
it.
but such a dad move. But I paid for the ticket. I'm gonna sound like such a dad, but I paid for the tickets. I don't want to spend most of the time standing in line waiting for food. I mean, if we're walking around the ballpark, that's one thing. I don't mind doing that. Like I love walking around
Yeah,
the ball. It's one of my favorite things to do. But like, I paid to watch the Phillies or walk around the ballpark, not stand in the chicken and pizza line to get crab fries.
yeah. We should do a we should do an episode about Drew's pro tips of going to a game at Citizens Bank Park.
I turn into a dad,
That
and I have
parking was
no
plush.
issue with it because we get out of the parking lot so quick.
See, I like to linger around, and I think that traffic's gonna magically get better, but I feel like it's way worse when you do that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, I wanted to linger around a little bit at the game Saturday, but I'm kind of like, no one's leaving. I'm like, if we quickly dip where we're parked,
Yeah.
we're gonna get out. And we got out so stinking fast.
hmm
Uh, and it was packed just on Saturday too. Like,
Yeah, it
I
was.
don't think it was a sellout, but it was definitely the fullest I've seen it so far this year.
Especially for the rain and everything.
Yeah.
One of these games though, if you that we go to, we'll have to go to the players lot and stand outside there, and that's always
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. If you haven't done it
Yeah.
before, it was cooler when I was a kid, I think, but like it's still cool to like stand there and watch them all come out in their fancy cars and stuff.
Yeah. I'll have to
But
do that sometime. Yeah.
yeah, but um, yeah. I mean, to your point about Ranger before we got so off topic, like I'm honest, like even though our offense is driving me insane, and
Mhm.
it's just like so frustrating because we know that these guys are so capable of being a top three offense in all of baseball. Um, they do historically get off to a slow start, and the pitching this year, it just seems like Sanchez and Ranger took a huge leap in my opinion. Sanchez looks great, so that wasn't. I
Mhm.
was a little worried he'd be like a 1 year fluke, kind of like Bailey Falter was, but he
Yeah.
looks, like he didn't miss a beat from last year.
Mhm.
Turnbull's been a great surprise with Taiwan coming back. Like we have a deep rotation and a even deeper bullpen.
Yeah.
So like I'm just like if they just keep pitching like this, and obviously, Nola will have some blow up starts and Wheeler won't be on some games and everyone will have their bad starts, but it's like I think the pitching is just really gonna like get them to that 95, 96 win range. If
Yeah.
the offense can hit like they know how they can hit.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's. I'm not too worried because the pitching's there, and my concern is always pitching because that's always been their concern.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like we kept talking about with Turner last year, you look at the back of the baseball card; these guys are going to start hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so now we kept talking about how important it was to get off to a hot start this year,
Mm-hmm.
but at this point, a hot start doesn't matter. We're lingering right around 500, which is better than below 500, which is
Mm-hmm.
what we were at this point past 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, So, well, actually, that's a lie. We're 10-8 now, so we're above 500 by 2 games. So there's
I
that at
like
least.
that.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
feeling. So I wouldn't say we're off to a hot start like some people were thinking we were gonna do, but we're off to a start, which with no adjective in front of that, I would call that quality. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, um,
Yeah. I mean, last
yeah.
year,
Well, and then today's game,
uh,
Harper looks like he's heating up. So, um,
yeah,
yeah, if he can
yeah,
get out of,
he has been hitting the ball hard,
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
but I mean, I think May is going to be an even bigger test than April, just because last year we had a horrible May. We were 15 and 14 after April, and then 10 and 16 in May. So, um, hopefully they can
Yikes.
hopefully they're just getting this little slump out of the way early and can just, start clicking a little earlier than usual.
Yeah,
Um,
but you always have to take care of bad teams, and that's what they did
yeah,
today. So
yeah. Hopefully they can sweep tomorrow.
that'd be
That would
huge.
be nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they're playing the White Sox, which are just a dumpster fire of a team right now.
Yeah, I think the White Sox are
Just
actually worse than the Athletics, which I never thought I'd
it's
say that
yeah,
about anybody.
it's wild to me too. This is
When
so off
Paul
topic,
DeYoung is
but
your leading home run guy, um,
hey,
yeah,
he used to be a stud. All right,
yeah. Oh, Corey Lee finally made the majors.
good for him.
Yeah.
I don't honestly don't know who that is.
Oh, he was a catching prospect. He
Oh, nice.
always I know him from MLB The Show. He was in the Astros organization in MLB The Show. I don't know. Yeah, he was in real life too. Okay. Um, yeah, he was like their top catching prospect or something like that. I don't know. He was always like he had always had like a potential in
Hmm,
MLB The Show, and then they would like just release him.
interesting. So you just pick
Yeah,
him
he
up.
always ended up. Yeah, so then you'd always just pick him. I don't know. So I don't know if he's actually good or not. He's off to a pretty decent start. He's batting 260, so that's not terrible.
Hmm.
But in 12
But
games, yeah, I guess a bright spot there for the White Sox.
but yeah, I mean, gotta take care of business tomorrow. Get on to the White Sox. Hopefully, it'd be 6 games over 500, possibly. If we
Yeah. Yeah.
sweep both series,
Mhm.
that'd be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Um,
I'm gonna get us on another tangent quickly. Um. So I mentioned I mentioned the Athletics, and so I'm on MLB's website just looking at stats, and I went to like the Athletics stats, and they only have 6 players listed on the stats page because to qualify you must have 1.3 plate appearances per team game played, and so they only have 6 guys that qualify for that apparently.
that's wild. That's just a joke.
I mean, now the White Sox are only showing 2, which I don't believe because there it goes. It just refreshed. But I don't know. That seemed a little ridiculous. But
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So no, it's all good. So yeah, more takeaways. I mean, pitching staff's looking great. Super excited. We touched on that. Second in the league in strikeouts so far, which is fantastic.
Yep.
You know, just feeling great about the pitching staff. My second note was Harper's continuing to struggle. Tonight broke out of that. I was going to ask you if you're worried, Drew. I mean, I think we probably know the answer based off tonight, but
Nope.
yeah, I'm not worried one bit. I mean, I do think this is like the most I've seen him struggle for the longest period of time as a
That is
Philly.
true. Yeah.
Like I mean, I mean, maybe there's some random weeks. I mean, I do remember him, slowing down a lot, but it just feels like it really only lasts like 4 games. It feels like at
Yeah.
maximum. So
Never really lasted too long.
yeah, so I mean, hopefully it's over now after a great game tonight.
Yeah, I'm really
But
hoping he keeps it up.
someone that I am worried about, and I want to get your opinion on it, is Castellanos.
Yep.
So my kind of thought process with him is, when we signed the first year we signed him in 22, it's like, oh, okay, he's gonna turn it around. He's gonna turn it around. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Then it's like the All Star break, and he has 7 home runs, batting 220. It's like, holy crap!
Yeah.
Like that happened quickly, and it
Well,
just kind of seems like he's just lost up there, like he was in 22. So,
yeah. Well, and then I don't know what Topper's doing. He moved Casty back up in the lineup today.
hmm,
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, Marsh is back in there after not playing. Um, I guess Marsh did play yesterday, right? Yeah.
yeah,
But Marsh and Stoddard both back in there after they didn't play Saturday.
hmm,
Um, and I saw the lineup come out, and I'm like, was the starter a lefty?
today,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Okay.
Austin Gomber, yeah,
Maybe that was it. Because
hmm,
he moved Casty back up to the 6, where Marsh really should be.
hmm,
Uh, I don't know. A pet peeve. Stop moving the
yeah,
lineup. Let Marsh
yeah.
hit.
I like to just let the lineup flow too. I mean, maybe make
Yeah.
some tweaks here and there, but
When Casty's struggling, don't put him up above the guys that are actually hitting.
yeah, but um, yeah. I mean, obviously hoping to figure it out, but it's like holy cow. And I mean, even last night, I think it was in the 8th. I mean, he got a pretty good hanging breaking ball that he took to the warning track, but like he's just like so on his front foot that he just kind of
Yeah.
whipped his hands at it, didn't get anything behind it, and like that's what we saw all year in 2022. So it's like, man, like I mean, he always goes in stretches like that, but it seems like he can just adjust. I mean, I just hope he can adjust because it's
Yeah.
just not
Well,
it's
my
just
issue
not
is
fun.
when your mechanics get off, like it seems like his mechanics might be,
Hmm.
instead of trying to like hit it as hard as you can with your wrist at that point, just get hits and just kind
Hmm.
of, if you need to slap it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's not really slapping, he's kind of just poking at it.
Hmm.
And like even if you slap it, you at least get something behind it.
Yeah.
But when he's just kind of poking at it, and it's just like he's got the power that him poking at it looks like a solid contact, but it's really not because he's just poking at it.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest hit ball I've seen him hit all year was that walk off. I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
it really was. That's the hardest,
like,
and it doesn't even count as an extra base hit because
hmm
it's second it lands, game's over.
yeah, yeah. I just wonder if he's thinking too much. It just seemed like
He probably
he did.
is.
Yeah, he just went up there, first pitch attacked. Like, I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like if that first
he
pitch would have
wasn't
got by
thinking.
him,
He
he
just
was.
went up there and swung. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think he's one of those players. He's probably just in his head right now, and hopefully he bounce out of it. But I am concerned. I would say.
yeah.
Uh, Merrifield batting 107. So he was the guy we talked about in our two preseason pods. Worried about him at all, Drew?
Not well, not really, because him struggling means Rojas is playing more. Um, but because if Witt wasn't struggling, then I think there's a good shot Rojas might sit more.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the offensive struggles that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not too concerned. He is a key piece of the team, but he doesn't need to have overall good stats. I'll put it that
Mm-hmm.
way. He just needs to be productive when called upon. So if
Yeah.
that means pitch hitting and that means coming in and even drawing a walk
Mm-hmm.
or bunting like he did last night to get the runner over to third, um, and he's not a negative defensive player as far as I'm aware, unless I'm completely wrong on that. I always thought he was a passable defensive player, so him coming in to make a spot start, I'm not really worried about the defense that night. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too concerned. He could be cooked, but um, I'm not too concerned. If he would be forced to play extended period of time, um, which would be unfortunate. But if that were the case and he still struggles, then maybe you look to I don't know who you look to at that point.
mm,
And Mundo Sosa probably, but um, yeah, at that point, if he's playing extended period of time, maybe he'd snap out of it because he could be a player that needs consistent at bats
mm-hmm.
to get better or not get better to be consistent. And he's not getting consistent at bats. Um, so if he needs to get consistent at bats, and he's thrust into like a starting role for a few weeks because someone I don't know turned an ankle or something, and needs to sit down for a little bit, I think he'll be fine. But he's coming off the bench, so I'm not too concerned. He was one of the notable things we did in free agency, though, so it's just kind of hard to watch those people stink it up.
Yeah, I was excited for him, and I think he's still turned around. He's batting 107 though, which is really bad. But yeah, I kind of thought he would like really work his way into the everyday starting lineup, what we talked about before. Be kind of that contact hitter who can, move runners over, do the little things right, and really be like a solid, 9-hole hitter instead of
Mm-hmm.
Rojas. But um, hasn't been like that yet. So hopefully he can pick it up. But I mean, Rojas, he's been laying down some bunts, doing some little things better. I mean, his defense is incredible. It's just so
Yeah,
fun watching play defense. So, um,
I'll give
you
him
know,
credit. He's really trying to do whatever he can to help the team.
yeah,
Um, so I'll give him
hmm
that. I
yeah,
love the I love the
absolutely,
guy though. If he can figure it out, I'll be enamored. But
yeah, yeah. I'll be excited.
hmm
Trey so far has really been our best hitter. I mean, Marsh has
hmm
kind of cooled off a little bit. But I mean, when we were there on Saturday. Like, I mean, you can see on TV that he's hitting the ball hard, but it's like every at bat he hit the ball hard somewhere,
yeah.
even when he was out. So
hmm
that's great to see because he looked really lost at first, and it's like, oh man, are we getting another start of the season like last year? But
Yeah. No, I think
I
he's
think,
found it.
yeah,
Whack my head
yeah,
here.
getting concussion. No, um,
I've done
yeah,
that
I think
before.
From hitting a microphone?
No, I whacked my head on
Oh.
a. We don't need to talk about that, but
Yeah,
I
sorry.
whacked my
Yeah.
head on a water fountain. But
Oh, yikes.
yeah,
This
you
is
know, in high
story.
school, high school they built them into the wall, so I stood
Mm-hmm.
up, and it's a single cinder block above the metal thing, so I just yeah.
Oh,
And then I was in marching band, so I had to march in a parade after that. Yet, and
oh
yeah,
man.
it was a great time.
Yeah, sounds brutal.
Yeah. Anyway,
um, but yeah, I mean, any more takeaways from things you've seen over the last couple games?
I think we've hit it.
Yeah, just get that offense rolling.
Mm-hmm. Roster updates. Taiwan's making a start tonight at AAA. Let's
Mm-hmm.
make a live look in on that. I didn't. I should have thought about this before I moved on to the segment and pulled this up earlier. Um, seems to be doing well. They're up 7-1, and so that means he only gave up one run because they only scored one in the first inning. So
Nice.
yeah,
Looks like he's still
unless he got lit up in the
getting
first
off
inning.
this getting off the slow starts.
What expect anything else?
unless he wa- unless he walked 5 guys in a row for that first
I was
for
gonna
that
say,
first run.
uh, unless they
Got
absolutely lit
pulled.
him up and he only pitched part of an inning.
No, I'm trying to see what his line was tonight.
I can't get to the
Um,
box score. Where's the box score? Oh, there we go. Okay, 4 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 1 strikeout.
hmm, so not horrible. I
David
mean,
Buchanan's dealing
oh yeah,
3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 hit.
nice.
Yeah,
Iron Pig legend right there.
yeah.
But yes,
Bring
I mean
him up
obviously,
instead of Walker.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, so I mean I feel like Walker will probably have 1 to 2 more starts down there, and then make his return.
Hmm.
If I were to guess, probably just one more. I mean, I don't know really, but
If he pitches well again, there's
mhm,
no way he stays down.
yeah. So I mean, what do you think happens with you know the bullpen and the rotation there? I mean, with Turnbull's pitching really well. I mean, he didn't have as dominant of a game last game, so
Yeah,
anything can really happen. But I feel like he's definitely earned the opportunity to start some more games here.
yeah. I feel like you don't want to pitch Taiwan out of the bullpen.
Hmm.
So I think it comes down to you might honestly. I don't know how much I'm going to say this, but you might go to a 6-man rotation. Um, Here at the beginning of the year, try and save some bullpen arms, save some starters arms.
Hmm.
Early in the season, so you can rely on them a little bit more later if you need to. Um, and if you have a 6-man rotation here to start the year, um, yeah, you could save some arms there. Bullpen might work less. Um, you never know because you got well after tonight you got Wheeler through Suarez who could take you a full 9.
Hmm.
Um, and Sanchez you can almost guarantee 5 strong innings.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know how Turnbull would pitch out of the bullpen, but I feel like
Hmm.
that's where he would go if we don't go 6-man rotation.
Hmm.
Um, which if he pitches well out of the bullpen, I don't have an issue with that because he'd be a nice long relief guy. But
Yeah, he definitely would. I mean, I think the roster move will definitely be Ricardo Pinto getting sent back down to AAA.
yeah,
He's just getting lit up lately. It's just, I mean, he's kind of an innings eater out of the bullpen now, like games that, you know, we're not really in, or we're ahead by a lot. So, it is what it is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I like the idea of a 6-man rotation. I just feel like Nola and Wheeler really pride themselves on taking the ball every fifth day.
yeah,
So how do you kind of manage that with, but also in the past was, you can tell that Nola gets in funks and could use the extra rest. And obviously they shut Wheeler down for an extended period of time in 22, I believe. And then they shut Nola down last year so I don't know. We'll see what they do,
yeah.
but
They're both
it'll be interesting.
workhorses.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so it's a good problem to have though. Too much pitching depth. I mean, that's not really something that's been said a lot over the past couple of years. So
yeah, I hope you can call it depth. So
yeah. And then yeah, Kerkering made his return on Sunday. Obviously, the game was horrible, but
he
he had
looked
one
good.
walk, 1K, looked good.
Hmm.
Nelson sent back down, which no surprise there. He's kind of just a place filler for a couple of
Yep.
days until Kerkering came back up.
Yeah.
And then not a roster move, but I mean, I'm an avid WIP listener, and you know, big thing people are, especially Joe Giglio, the afternoon host, was saying.
Oh, he pisses me off.
Yeah, he always has some hot takes, but I mean,
I don't even know if I'd call them hot takes. I just call them dumb
yeah,
takes.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, he had something I saw today, saying the Phillies are an average lineup and we really need a impact middle of the order bat, make a deal. Um, I don't think they do. I mean, if they do at the deadline, this would be the year to do it, to
Hmm.
make a splash. But for now, I mean, just let the guys figure it out. They've done it before.
Yeah. Yeah. I you, I don't know what you would trade, and I
Yeah,
don't know who you would trade for. So until
yeah,
that becomes more clear, you can't
hmm
really do much
yeah,
because you're not gonna. I low key wanted us to trade for Luis Robert at one point. Um, that's not happening.
yeah.
Um, you'd probably
White
have to
Sox
give
would
up.
ask for a fortune.
Yeah, they'd want Justin Crawford
Hmm
at the least, and probably make a Bell. Um, I mean, Robert would be worth it, but at the same time, would he be worth it? I don't know.
Yeah,
He'd be an upgrade from Rojas probably, but
yeah, but we will see.
yeah,
So Drew, our
yeah,
favorite section,
yes,
Phillies by the numbers.
yes. Number
Take it away.
five, number five, episode 5, number 5. So the one thing I thought was interesting, when looking at this, was that there is 46 total players that have worn, the number 5, which seemed like a lot. I don't know if it is or not, but for the other numbers we covered so far, um, it's a lot more. Um, so I had some, I guess you could call them unhonorable mentions. Um, just guys that didn't really stand out much that are in recent memory for us that we'd get kicks out of it. Um, Pete Orr, I vividly remember him more wearing the number 12. That's what I remember him from, but it says he wore number 8 the first year of the 3 years he was here. Solid bench guy, but not really mentionable worthy, which is why he's being mentioned here. Um, Good old Nicky Williams, um, and then Michael Saunders, who everyone freaked out when we got him, and then he did nothing. So, um,
Well, yeah, he was like an all-star the year before, right? And then
yeah,
we signed him on like a super cheap deal. It's like,
I
how are we
thought we
getting an
traded
all-star?
for him.
I don't remember. I feel like we signed him. Cause I was like, how did we sign a all-star for that? Like we are back in, baby. We
Hmm.
are ready to compete.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
like,
We signed him, and
mhm.
then we traded him right back to Toronto, which is where he came from. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
He was an
And
All Star the year before. Yeah, I'm
I
looking at his
remember.
stats, and I don't know how he was an All Star. He batted 253 with 24 home runs.
Interesting.
Maybe Toronto just needed a rep.
But yeah, it's funny you brought up Nick Williams because I have a funny story about him, but he was actually mentioned on the broadcast tonight because
Wait, really?
yeah, because which is so funny that Nick Williams has been mentioned twice by Phillies fans today. But yeah, it was like Bryce was using Castellanos' bat, and then they were talking about how Harper hit his first home run on the Phillies with Nick
Nick
Williams'
Williams
bat, which
bet.
is
Yeah,
probably about all he's contributed to.
the Sarah.
Yeah.
Didn't we get
So
him in the Cole Hamels deal?
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep. That was supposed
yeah.
to be like That's Ruben's parting gift to get us all replenish our farm system with all these studs.
Jorge Alfaro,
And
Nick Williams, and Jake Thompson. What a replenishment that was.
here's me and Nick Williams back
Oh,
in
heck yeah.
back in
I will say,
2017. So
my baseball glove I used up until, I don't remember what age I stopped using it, but pretty much my first actual baseball glove has Don Brown's signature on it.
nice.
Yeah, I got really excited
Nice.
for that first half of season where I thought that glove was going to be worth something someday.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was. That was crazy.
talking baseball put a thing out today that said who is the most like kind of like the most random all-star of all time that you could think of, and my head went right to Don Brown.
That is a good one. That is
Yeah.
very, yeah.
So I commented on it. We'll see. I haven't got any notifications, so I don't think anyone else really the fact that I said Don Brown. So, but now some actual honorable mentions. Um, you got the man Roy Sievers. Just a solid player. Um, not with us, but as a player, um, where the heck is he? I want to open his card. There he is. A solid player. He was a rookie of the year and a 5-time All-Star. But he didn't really do anything with us. And then we traded him to Washington. So, honorable mention just because he's a notable player, 5-time All-Star, rookie of the year. So, and he played for us and wore the number 5. So I figured he was worth, mentioning. Not sarcastically either. The next one would be Don Money. Or maybe it's Money. I don't know. Either way, you spell it Money. And if your last name is Money and you play in sports, like that's golden. So he never did much with us. The best he did, he batted 295 with 14 home runs in 1970. And I don't know if he was traded or signed with Milwaukee, but he's a 4-time All-Star, and he had all of them in his late 20s, early 30s with Milwaukee. So another guy didn't really do much with us, but notable he started with us. And then the biggest honorable mention that I can give right now is to our boy Andrew Knapp. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Did he wear
it's
5?
to it says he did for 2
I thought,
years. Yeah.
oh, jeez. I thought it
Yeah.
was. I thought it was 15.
No, he wore number 5 right before our actual honor mention came up to the big leagues, Mr. Bryson Stott. Not much I can't say about Bryson Stott, so I'll just leave it at that. What a guy. Like, what a guy. So,
Yeah, I think behind Bryce, he's definitely my second favorite Philly.
yeah.
He's just a ball player.
Yeah.
No other way around it.
I feel like if we give us a few years and there's a chance we change this from who I'm going with to Bryson Stott.
Mm-hmm.
But
Totally
we're not
agree.
in a few years. We're doing it now. So, my actual pick for number 5 is none other than Mr. Pat Burrell. The man who beat the Rays and then signed with the Rays in free agency. So, what a guy. The guy he finished top 7 and top 14 twice. And like he finished top 15, I guess I'll just say, twice in MVP voting, but he was never an All-Star. And I don't know how you do that. He is a 2-time World Series champ though, so you gotta give him that. But I don't know how you finish like top 10 in MVP and not be an All-Star. But
Just heat up the second half of the year.
I guess like the year he finished top, like these are All-Star numbers. What I'm about to read off. He finished 7th in NL MVP voting in 2005. He batted 281 with a 389 on base percentage. He hit 32 home runs and had 117 RBIs. And then he pretty much had an identical season in 2002 when he was 14th in NL MVP voting. He hit 282, 376 on base percentage with 37 home runs and 116 RBIs. And he had a pretty good rookie year too. So pretty sure we took him 1-1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so kind of the story with him was the year before the Phillies drafted JD Drew and didn't want to sign with us. So people hated him, and then years later threw batteries at him when he played for Boston.
Yep.
So the next year, that was when we got Pat. So Pat was, I mean, like
Okay, this is kind of funny. I don't want to cut you off, but the Red Sox drafted Pat Burrell in the 43rd round out of
out of high school.
amateur college or high school, whatever you want to call it. And then we drafted him, and the whole what you were just saying with JD Drew, throwing batteries on the right side. So I just like how it's a whole little all connected. Yeah.
But sorry.
No, you go, because my
No, I
thing
was just
can be
saying,
said afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, Pat Burrell was supposed to be a superstar hitter, obviously getting taken 1-1, and he was like the clear-cut number one pick at that time out of Miami. He was just like the best hitter in college baseball by far.
Yeah, he won the Golden Spikes Award.
So
that's what I was
like,
gonna say earlier, so it fit in there.
Perfect segue.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, but like a lot of Phillies fans got on him, especially later in his career, because he never really lived up to that hype. But just seeing him, parade down Broad Street in his final year here, gave everything he had to the organization for 8 years. Just a classy guy, stand-up guy. Had multiple 30 home run seasons, multiple 25 plus home run seasons, 100 RBIs, like just a really productive, consistent, quality hitter.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't care if he didn't live up to what we thought we were getting at 1-1. He is one heck of a baseball player. Like, he had a cannon for an arm. He couldn't move to the ball very quickly, but and he had, like, I'm looking at his stats, he really only had one down year. Which was in 2003. He only hit 209 with 20, like, in a down year for him, he only hit 21 home runs. But every other year he's hitting over 250. He's pretty much an career over 252. Well, let's see. I can give you an actual number. With the Phillies, he was a career 257 hitter. You take out that 209 year, he's probably a career 260 or above easily as a hitter. And he had 251 home runs. Like, that's a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know he might not have panned out like some people thought, but he was still, like, he batted right behind Ryan Howard. You don't bat right behind Ryan Howard and not be a good hitter. So I loved Pat Burrell.
Yeah, he was
and his dog. I loved Elvis.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember my dad telling me, like, Pat Burrell signed with the Rays. I'm like, what? We just beat them in the World Series. Like,
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, it takes, if you can't beat them, join them to a different level, because we did beat them, and then he joined them.
Yeah. Actually, a funny story too. When I was doing like a Boy Scout thing where you like walk around the warning track in 2009, and it was for like those like preseason games they used to have at Citizens Bank Park. Do you remember that at all? They played the Rays that year, and we were walking around, and Pat Burrell just like walked out right in front of us. It was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I wish I was a little older when he was, playing. Just
Yeah,
enjoy him more. But it felt like, as soon as I got into the Phillies, he was just gone, and that was kind of like my first, like, oh wow, like this is like players get moved a lot. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Like, in a way, he almost reminds me of Kyle Schwarber. But Pat Burrell hit for better average.
Yeah. I was gonna comp him to like Hoskins.
I was getting there.
Like,
I was running through a lot of people in my mind. He was built though, kind of like Schwarber is.
Yeah.
But no, Hoskins is a good comp.
especially just like underappreciated by fans too, and like
Yeah.
But I'll
It is
always
what it
love Pat
is.
Burrell,
Yeah.
and he got his first ring here in his final, and he really like. I mean, when he was on like when he started with the Phillies, like they were horrible, like
Oh yeah, he was supposed
horrible.
to be the savior or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he
Yeah.
really like, even though he didn't end up being that guy, um, I mean, he was a key contributor to that World Series team and like really built this
Yeah.
thing. So always got to pay homage to Pat Burrell. And I think
Mhm.
is he a major league hitting coach now?
Yeah, I think he's with the Giants actually.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, at least I thought he was.
No,
Um,
yeah, the Giants. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if he's a
it's
hitting coach, but
no, he's their hitting coach.
oh, is he their actual? Oh, okay.
Hmm
Yeah.
That was crazy too when he got traded in 2010 to the Giants and then won a World Series. I think he had like a pretty clutch hit in the NLCS, I think.
Yeah, his first year with the Giants, he really didn't have a bad year. He had 18 home runs and batted 266.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, what a guy.
mhm.
That is this
I
week's segment.
fun fun fact I have
Yeah.
two number 5 Phillies jerseys in my collection. Can you guess whose they are?
Can I cheat and look at the list of number fives?
I mean, yeah. We've talked
Okay.
about we've talked about them.
Is
Well,
one
you
of them
know the
Mike
one.
Sweeney?
No. No.
Ah.
No, I'll just
Well,
have
you have
I have
Stott. Are
yeah,
we
yeah, I
counting
just
the
like
one you just bought?
well, yeah, I was counting that one, but that was
Okay.
a layup.
That's a cheat one because I was there when you bought that one.
Mm.
And then you have a Pat Burrell. No. What
I
do you
have
have?
a I have a Players Weekend Nick Williams jersey that says Nicky Dubs on the back.
That is so worth
Prob-
buying.
Probably the worst, like one of
No, that
the
was so worth it.
like one of the like I should just wear that to a game
You
like
should.
soon just to like
Should wear it
be
Wednesday.
funny.
Should wear it tomorrow.
House, to be honest, I don't even think
Tell your
I've
mom to bring it.
but yeah, I was so high on Williams, but
Yeah.
didn't pan
I
out.
was as high on Williams as I was on Don Brown. We
Yeah.
see where they ended up.
So
Yeah.
someone else you're high on, Drew. Carlos De La Cruz in our
Yeah.
prospect talk for the week.
I love
I
Carlos David Cruz.
I've said this before, but I don't really follow the prospects like I used to. But Drew's
Fine by
only
me.
note is beast. So Drew, take
Yes.
it away.
Yeah. So he is a beast. He is a spectacular specimen, this man. Um I really like him. I don't know what if he's ever gonna actually turn into anything, but um I have hopes. My one hope was though that Bryce would be the right fielder, and once Hoskins moved on, De La Cruz would come up and be the first baseman. Um, but I don't think that's happening as Bryce is now the first baseman. Um, but if this guy can get his consistency together, um, he could be something really special. He hasn't hit for terrible average. He sat right around 260 last year at Reading. And he played the whole year there, which really isn't bad. But he hit 24 home runs. So, I don't think Reading's a small ballpark either. I think that's one of the harder ones to hit in Double A, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, he's a real big. I mean, he's 6'8". So
Holy cow! Is he related to Ellie?
I don't know. He could be, but yeah, he's 6'8". He's 24. He plays outfield and first base. I don't know how much. I wonder if I could find a position breakdown somewhere for him, but um, I don't know if he played.
Yeah, this is so random, but he's not related to Ellie. At least he's not his brother.
Okay.
But Ellie De La Cruz has a twin brother named Pedro, who is nearly a foot shorter at 5'8".
Wow. I feel like I did hear that somewhere before.
Did you?
Yeah.
That must be like so hard. Like your twin brother's like a major league stud, and like
You're a
you didn't.
midget.
You did. All right, 5'8's not that short, Drew.
No, he's
Okay,
not.
all right.
Dude, compare. I just mean everyone looks up.
I'm only
Oh wow,
5'6". All right, no.
you're Ellie. Sweet. Where's Pedro? And they're still looking up there. And it's like, oh no, he's here.
Oh yeah. That.
Yeah, I'm not calling him like a midget, but
It's little person, Drew.
I'm sorry. I gotta be politically correct now on a baseball podcast. But yeah, I can't find the page I was looking for, but I can't find a position breakdown. But maybe I can on here. If I spell his name right. He's not going to show up in there. All right, well, yeah. If he can figure it out, I don't think he really needs to figure much out. If I'm being completely honest, it's just more so how's he going to get on the team is what it's going to come down to. If something would happen to Casty or if something would happen to Schwarber, I could see him coming up. Or if, heaven forbid, something happens to Bryce, then I feel like he could come up then. He is a right-handed hitter though, so him coming up replacing Schwarber or Bryce would be a little difficult to see because it'd just be replacing a lefty with a righty. But I really don't know. Looking at the rest of the farm system and stuff, I don't know what type of lefty bat you'd be able to bring up to replace one of them. Mm-hmm. So if something happens, I feel like we could see Carlos De La Cruz this year. He's not doing terribly well this year at Reading. He's batting 156, but they've only played 9 games. So he does have 3 RBIs though. But he did strike out 160 times last year.
Holy cow.
In 130 games. So that's a lot of the issue. And he only walked 54 times. So if you can get his strikeouts down, that would be a lot of it. I feel like the approach they should take with him is look at Aaron Judge and see how. I'm not saying they're the same build, but take a look at Aaron Judge and whatever the Yankees did with him, mimic it. If it's just a swing path thing or what, but it could just be a discipline thing. So I think he's really cool, and I have a lot of fun with him just because he's one heck of a specimen. But he looks really weird. I saw him in spring trading. He looks really weird in the batter's box because he's not really bulky. He's lanky, so he kind of looks like O'Neal Cruz and Ellie De La Cruz, up there in the box. But he's not as fast as either of them. He doesn't steal bases. But
so what you're saying is we have the Walmart version of
yeah,
Ellie.
CVS store brand version, yeah. Yep. I'm trying to remember. He had a weird story. Not a weird. He had an interesting story. I'm trying to quickly read an article on it. But he had a solid year last year, in all said, at Double-A. So he's been eligible for the Rule 5 draft the past couple of years, but because of his strikeouts, people are passing on him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
plus, yeah, you gotta,
yeah. So, but yeah, keep an eye out for him. If you're going to a Reading Phillies game, keep an eye on him. He's electric when he's hitting. I don't know if he's streaky, but he does strike out a lot. So, yeah, watch out for him.
He'd fit in great with the Phillies.
Yeah, he would. But yeah, if something would happen to Casty, I would. I know he's at Double-A, but I feel like he might be the first guy they'd call up. Because I don't know if they'd call up Simone Muzziotti. Jeez, can't say that name tonight for some reason. But we can talk about him next week. Is actually what I was gonna do. So, come come next week. Listen about Simone Muzziotti, who I love, and he never gets called up. Poor dude. But
He's been on the 40 man. I feel like for like 4 or 5 years.
he sits there.
Muzziotti.
He really just sits there in case something happens.
Yeah.
And thankfully, nothing really happens that he needs to come up. But I really like him. He's the type of player that I like, where
Mhm.
he's not gonna wow you, but he's fast. He plays good defense, and he hits for average.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It kills me that a player like that just sits at AAA, but we can get into that more next week.
Yeah.
But upcoming games here, we're wrapping up our series against the Rockies tomorrow. Followed up by a 3-game stint with the White Sox, and then a 4-game stint against the Reds. So the Rockies, obviously, the series wraps up tomorrow. It's a home series. We pick up series against the White Sox Friday to Sunday. That is a home series. And then we travel out to Cincinnati to play the Reds Monday to Thursday. It's looking promising. Well, this will probably be the last time we see the Reds because that's how this has been working out. But do you know who the starter is tomorrow for the Rockies?
That is a good question. I
Try.
know it's Sanchez for the Phillies. Tomorrow's Rocky starter is Feltner.
Okay.
Ryan Feltner, 27 years old. 1-1 with a 3.38 ERA this year.
Yeah, not bad.
So he'll probably pitch 8 scoreless innings or 1-run innings against the Phillies or something.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In April, at least.
Yeah. But so look for the sweep tomorrow. Get your broomsticks out because it's gonna happen.
First sweep of the year, potentially.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And
Absolutely.
then we should. I'm not gonna say this because I don't want to jinx anything. But
At least take 2 or 3 for the
don't
White
put the
Sox.
broomstick in the closet. Just lean it against it for the next series. And then I always love how they have us playing the Reds a lot. I swear, like every year.
Every April.
Yeah, we're done.
What?
We're done playing the Reds by May. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but the Reds are an interesting team as they're constantly growing because they have so many young players.
Mm-hmm.
So like it'd be fun to see them later on in the season. I mean, granted, it should be easier to beat them now, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you gotta at least split the series with the Reds. Like if you're playing 4-game series anymore, you either have to go 3-1 or split them. You really can't lose a 4-game series. So uh, I'm looking optimistically, including today's win. We're up 2-1 on the Rockies, so we got um, 8 games coming up. If you could go 6-2, I'd be perfectly fine. Yeah, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
I
Yep.
would be thrilled with that.
Yes. But yeah, I think that wraps everything up for this week. Am I missing anything? Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, everything's good.
Yeah.
Get that sweep tomorrow. Thank you
Yeah.
everyone for listening,
Bring
especially
your
those who
broom
made
with
it
you
to
to the
the
game.
end. But yeah, I mean, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, Banter at the Bank. Go
Yeah.
Phils.
Yeah, go Phils.